Hello, I hope you are doing well. So today, and I hope you can hear me because today I'm using actually my real camera, not my laptop tiny camera, which looks not so great, and the microphone which is connected to that. So hopefully you can hear me. Now you have seen the title of the video, Being in a Negative Place. And it's not actually about me, it's about the viewer. But first of all, this kind of content is not usually what I do. So I thought about making a video, but it would be, I think, too much off of my usual type of content. So I want to take it to a live stream to address it here and hopefully be of help. And if you have anything you want to comment, any questions, anything else that's not about the title of the video or is about the title of the video, please do so. And once I'm done with my talk, which should take about 5 minutes or so, then let's talk about the usual things, Japan and all that. So I've received actually 5 or so comments from a viewer, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 comments. And I want to highlight one, which says, so generally the tone of the comments is not so positive, but they're not assy or malicious or anything like that. So it says, you're over there living the dream, I'm here with nothing. I think the person is in Wales, by the way. All I get is bad fortune in my life, losing my dear mother 5 years ago. I have no real family, I live alone, I had no degree growing up or money. So first of all, I want to say, I am indeed really fortunate. And what I mean is not financially or so. So although I am, but when I grew up, we also didn't have a lot of money. So compared to what I can offer my family now, I think I'm in a really good place. And what we had plenty of though is love. So we had very loving parents, a very loving family. And I think they gave me so much that I am in a position where I can also give this to my children. So all this love they gave me, I can essentially channel and continue giving to them. So this is what I mean. I'm really fortunate. And I have been fortunate to live in this kind of environment and grow up like that. Now, from this comment, it doesn't, as I said, it doesn't sound very positive. It indeed sounds as if the person is in not a good place, in a negative place. That's why there's the title of the video. So I want to offer 2 things to you, some advice. So on the, chances are I'm sounding a little bit like a dad when I offer this advice, but I am a dad, so I think it's okay. And so firstly, you define your reality, obviously. I mean, if you think about it, obviously. So if you look at this video now, I'm pointing over there because there's my screen. If you look at this video now, you are not seeing me on the screen, right? You're actually seeing me here in the eyes, and then it's processed inside of you. So all your perception of reality actually happens in here. So what you make of what you perceive is done inside of you. So essentially, if you make it a negative reality or a positive one, depends on you. So now it's easier said than done, obviously, or especially if you are not in a positive place. And I'm also not always in a positive place. It's easier said, be positive, just be positive, than done, right? Often. So I want to offer two exercises, essentially. The first one is immediately, so do that now or do that every morning or so. And the second one is, you can also start right now, but maybe do the first one first. That's why it's the first one. So the first one is breathing, actually, breathing. So pretty basic, right? Everybody breathes, but with a certain pattern. First of all, breathe in fully. This means first the belly, then the chest, and then out. Not everything out, not and repeat that 30 times, no space in between. So not, but in, out, in, out. So in, out, no space. no thinking, just focus on the breath, in, out. And this might sound spiritual or esoteric or something like that, but it's actually scientifically even a logic behind that. So when you breathe out more than you breathe in, as in maybe you realize this pattern. It's when you're stressed out, when you're crying or so on. This might be what's happening. So this kind of pattern, this stresses your body actually. So breathing out longer than you breathe in gives you more short breath, more stress in your body. And the other way, if you breathe in longer, you might also realize this pattern. You maybe recognize this. This is like if you have been running exhausted, and then you stop, and then you go back into a normal like level of your heartbeat. So you bring more oxygen in, your body slows down, you become more quiet. So do this 30 times, 30 times. This breathing in deeply into the belly, into the chest, shortly out. Focus on that. You can close the eyes, you can lie down, you don't have to sit. Do it in as comfortable position as you can possibly do. Then if you do that, a couple of things might happen. One is you might feel a little bit tingly, maybe your fingers, also lightheaded. That's because you get more oxygen in, more oxygen stored in your body. And another thing is, maybe if you're doing this more and more, and you do it maybe even together with somebody like we do now, then you might all of a sudden feel like a weird change in your face where you get like the mouth goes up a little bit like this. And if this doesn't happen, if you don't still feel like, oh, I don't understand or so, then you do this another 30 times. And if you feel like, wow, that's great, it's actually like making me calmer and I actually feel a little bit of relief here, then you also do it another 30 times. So in any case, you do it 60 times. And then maybe another 30. And then if you really like that, then you should maybe start searching for Wim Hof method, which is actually where I stole this from now and like made it shorter. So this is something that really helps me. So one thing is the breathing and how this affects your body. And the other thing is you focus on the breath. So you focus on really in, out, no space, really no space. Because of that, all your focus should be on the breath and you should leave this, what's going on there, like your issues and so on, alone. So you have 30 breaths, 30 times in and out, where you leave your problems and all your concerns and so on somewhere else. And then another 30 and another 30. And then this is what other people might call meditation. So essentially helping you to decouple from your active thinking a little bit more and leave the thoughts where they are and let them go a little bit. This is part one. And then part two. So first do the first one. Then part two is helping others. And what I mean by that is helping others without expecting them to give you anything back and without even expecting them to realize. So maybe just hold the door open for somebody. They may not realize they just walk in, but you know. And you understand that you did something positive. So there is something positive all of a sudden in your environment, right? And you created that. You don't need anybody else for that. And you can do that again. And it doesn't need to be, so right now it might be difficult to do something physical. So doing something good for somebody else can just be leave a nice comment on the internet as well. So by that, just by you start to think like, how can I do something good for somebody else, something positive? And this changes step by step your reality. And this might sound weird maybe, or why should I do that? But do the breathing first and then listen to this again. And that's my advice. So it's very basic, but it's also, if you do that and if you do it right and focused, then I think it can have a really good impact. Okay, now your comments. So first, Moriarty Vivaldi says, I've been in a very negative place since around 2014 and I'm hoping you have some decent life advice. Although I understand you are going through your own battle currently. Wish you the best, man. I wish you also the best, and I hope what I just said is of some kind of help for you. Yeah, I really do. Like I said, so I do this breathing essentially every morning, and it's great, especially if I'm stressed at work or so on. Doing this and getting back, like getting a sense of calmness inside of myself, really puts things into perspective. Like, is it really that important? Like that, I don't know, I have some stress in some project or something. In the whole picture, in the big picture, will I think about this in a year? Most likely not. So I can let that go. Jimmy Senpai says, hope you're doing fine. I am doing fine, thank you. So I introduced it in the beginning, probably nobody was watching yet at that time. So actually, I wanted to address a couple of comments a viewer left, especially now that it's so hard to actually get real life conversations and so on. So I think this kind of live stream is something I can offer. HSCH, maybe Hush. You're such a kind person. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for your comment. How's your health? Asks Silhouette FG. It's good, I think. So currently I'm doing pretty fine, I think. Yeah. So I do like 1 hour of exercise or so a day. Not necessarily like push-ups or pumping muscles or so, but a lot of trying to loosen my body up essentially, because I sit all day, and if you do that obviously in the same position all the time, then it gets a little bit stiff. Like your body optimizes yourself for that position. So I'm trying to work against that. And with regards to the condition, I have, it's there, but it's not affecting me right now. It might do in the future. However, I'm trying to find ways to mitigate the risk and do my best, as in exercising and being as healthy as I can and becoming the most healthy me in this year. That's actually my New Year's resolution, is being healthy. Well, yeah, being as healthy as possible. Take care of your health, says Silhouette FG. Thank you, thank you. You too. You should take good care of your health, because if you're healthy, then you can do anything. And if you're not, that's not great. You probably know if you have an injury, you're sick or something, then all of a sudden everything is a little bit harder and so on. But if you're healthy, you can do anything. "15 people in here. Thank you all for coming. Thank you all." So the part about the negative things is already passed. So if you look at the review or so on, or scroll back, then you can see that. And let me know anything you want to know, your comments and so on. Daniel Panic, some advice I've heard about how stress makes you feel. It's to realize that you're not at fault. It's just something you experience that you have to manage, like a condition, not a failure of you. Yes, and I agree. And then you can also maybe not decide, but you can also manage how much it affects you. Maybe that's what you mean. Dreamy Senpai said, I heard the Japanese offices are kind of toxic, and we know you are an IT engineer. Does that kind of affect your health? So what should we do if our workplace is negative? Yes, I'm not sure about the Japanese offices, but certainly in IT that you run into, maybe not only, maybe everywhere, you run into people that have a rather negative mindset, and then people that don't have. And so what I saw, like if people get sarcastic about what they do, maybe if you're an engineer and they say the code is so bad of this person, and first of all, if you realize you're doing that yourself, I would advise you to stop that, because it is super. I mean, I have been with some of these persons, and then I did the same, like essentially jumped on the bandwagon, and this is super exhausting. So all this energy that wasted for complaining can just be used for making it better. So that's what you can change for yourself. Then for the other person, you can just not call them out, but point it out. Maybe they don't realize. Just say, hey, why are you so negative? Or just put what they are saying in a positive way, or offer a different perspective or so. Depends on your position, of course. If you're higher than the person, then you might be able to say, hey, you're negative there, and I think we need to work on that. And then, of course, you can't just say again, just be positive, because they don't actually know what you're talking about, because they've always been like that, recently at least. So you need to offer something to them, like have a weekly meeting with them, and then say, hey, I saw this happen, I think you should have handled it differently, and so on. This is like general coaching. And for me, since I'm in a position, I'm not an engineer level, I'm a manager level, so I would be in that position. And my stress would rather not come from them, but from a tough project situation or something, when like that. People that are higher up in the company say something like, your team doesn't perform well, or something like that. And yeah, and this happens. So sometimes you're in a tough position, but this also changes over time. And the more you experience that, the more you understand it's like it's phases, it goes up and down. As a med student, the best source of any medical advice or information besides talking to your doctor is PubMed. I don't want to give any advice, as you probably have much more life experience as I do. So I don't want to sound like a dickhead. All I can do is wish you all the best. Thank you, Demiran. Thank you. Yes. So, yeah, I'm already done with the part about that. So I said it before. So it's about a viewer, actually, who seems to be in a negative place. So I wanted to offer my view, and hopefully it's helpful. And if you want to check the view, then maybe you can say something about it. It's in the beginning. If you just scroll back, then you're missing a little bit of the live part, but it's like 5 minutes or so in the beginning. Yes. By the way, a negative. I think we're all in a negative place right now, bro. Yeah, I mean, kind of, yes. I mean, I would like to be able to, travel and without concerns, and show you more and take videos and all that. But currently it's a bit tough. So I'm actually clueless what I should do next on this channel. And of course, I would like to leave Japan on vacation, see my family and all that. So certainly, but again, it's what you make out of it. So, there are things you can control and others you can't. And if you can't control it, then at least you can, just do what you can and take it positive. As a Muslim, I invite you to listen to the recitation of our holy book, revealed from God, the Quran. Have a great day and stay healthy. Your videos really helped me regarding program in Japan. Thanks. Thank you, Silhouette FG. Actually, I started reading the Quran when I was studying 14 years ago. And all the best to you too. Thank you. You also stay healthy. It adds to existing issues. I'm in Los Angeles. We have been in max lockdown since May. Wow, that's tough. I have flights to come to Japan in May. Up in air. Yes, definitely. Yeah, absolutely not sure. I'm actually, obviously I can't give any comment on this reliably. I think vaccination starts next month or so in Japan. And until there's enough for immunity, no idea. Oh, Daniel, Have some nice tea, relax. Thank you. This is actually the first ever donation I got on a live stream. So afterwards, I will tell my wife, and she will be probably not super excited, not as excited as I am now. But thank you really much. Thank you. So thanks a lot. And so back to the flight. Yeah, I really hope you can come and enjoy the country, and I hope it will be safe to be here and travel here, and you don't have to like be 2 weeks in quarantine here. So that would be nonsensical. Yeah, the best medicine to counter negativity is friendships and caring. But as a silent, lonely guy, I can't find any friends. Any advice on how to get friends? Yeah, I understand that. So I'm also rather I wouldn't say I like loneliness, but I like solitude. And I'm not the most outgoing person. Funny enough, many YouTubers seem to be not the most outgoing persons or characters. So for me, it's rather like valuing these existing friendships and like working on them. But it's also, especially one, if you're in another country, it's not, you might forget that, you know, to keep improving or work, like making sure that these old connections actually stay healthy. And what too, of course, now we have Corona. Actually, in my case, 2 of my best friends now we phone every second Saturday. It's actually because of Corona. They are both in Germany, so they could meet before, but now it's hard. So actually, in that regard, it helped me. And so advice on how to get friends, that's really tough. I don't know, actually. So when I look at my children, it's so great. They meet somebody, they do some, like, I don't know, children stuff, and after 5 minutes, they have a friend. So my older one got in the kindergarten recently, in the new one since we moved. And like first day, 2 friends. And then he said like, yeah, just two kids played with me. And I'm like, that's like more friends than I've made here in 2 years. So I can't really offer any great advice on how to make friends as an adult, I think. I mean, obviously you make contacts at work and so on, and hopefully you have good relationships with them, but I'm probably not the best person to ask that. Historic moment, says Demiran, referring to Daniel Panek's $5 donation. Yes, absolutely historic. So tomorrow or whenever I will get some nice tea. Yes, really the first donation, Daniel. So again, thank you. And if anybody has advice for Dreamy Senpai on how to find friends, how to make friends as probably adult, then please share it. Please share it. What are your favorite things about Japan? That's a great question, and I like it because it's so positive. Because it's so easy to complain, right? But it's much better. It costs more, maybe more effort to be positive, but it's also much more rewarding, I think. I don't know about Japan in generally, but I will tell you. So where I am now, every morning I look outside this window. Sometimes I just stand there. I'm wondering if my neighbors see me, and then in the distance I see a mountain, and then recently there's snow and so on, and I really liked it. I open the window and I breathe in the fresh air. I like that a lot. So that's not something particular about Japan. I guess you can get that everywhere. But yeah, I enjoy that. And then in this place, so Nagano City, I live in Nagano City, which is in a valley, and it's surrounded by essentially the Japanese Alps. So wherever you look, there's a mountain. So that's so beautiful. So whenever I go outside and I actually take the time to look, I become so happy. And another thing is about this place here, when I go to Tokyo, not recently, but previously. And then Tokyo is, of course, more people and so on. You get used to that and so on. And then I come back here, probably in the evening. I leave the station, and then there's the fresh air, like the mountain air. Ah, that's so great. That's so great. Yeah. So that's something I really like about this place. Yeah. What are your favorite? So that's not Japan again. So I will come back to this probably, but let me quickly go over the next comments. It's so nice to see happy, says Streamy Senpai. Thank you. Hi, says Jasi Vadas. And Rante, welcome. Hope you to be positive, even on bad situations. Situation changes anytime. Absolutely, yes. So, because we know each other, it's not actually about my bad situation, but of a viewer. So I wanted to give the advice I can give to improve that for the viewer. I think getting advice from a person who has been in the same situation as you are right now is probably the best thing that can happen to you. So you know that life goes on and this too shall pass. Yes. Yes. Hopefully, I mean, if it has passed for that person, yes. I think generally, if you have issues, actually talking about them is very helpful. So that's something I'm trying to practice a lot with my wife. Especially, maybe it's a Japanese thing, maybe it's my wife's thing or so. To keep, to keep it in, and then in Japan we say you have to read the air, which means like essentially read between the lines, understand what's going on by the situation itself, which is really tough for Japanese and also especially for me as non-Japanese. Yes. So I'm trying to make it direct and so on. And then usually she also gets much more positive. So if she's like annoyed by something I did or so, and then we talk about it, actually, I make her open up. I like pull it out of her. Then all of a sudden the problem is solved, or at least it's not as important as it used to be. Keep your chin up, bra. Thank you. I do. The best I got to do when I'm being negative is being humble and thankful for the smallest things, like having a warm room. It's also okay to sometimes be in a bad place when you're aware of it. Yes, I also agree with the warm room. We actually currently have 3 warm rooms. Can you believe it? And that's in Japan. So we have this room I'm in. Then my wife is in the living room downstairs, and my kids are sleeping in the room next door, which is also warm. That's luxury. So in Germany, as you might, or in Europe, probably many places, there's like centralized heating, and then they have like brick walls and so on. So it's rather well isolated. But in Japan, usually it's like, can you hear that? It's like wood, thin wood like this, and then there's a little bit of space, maybe some insulation, and then another thing. So the wall is all in all is like this, but not like German level. And there's no centralized heating. Not exactly sure why. I think one of the reasons is that the houses usually don't have that long of a life. So I think it's right now, it might be like 40 years. It's getting longer for newer houses, like 70 or so. So that might be one reason. Also the landslides sometimes here in this area. I think earthquakes don't affect it because it's underground. But anyway, that's how it is in most parts of Japan. So then you have like local heat, like an air conditioner, which I have, or like a local heater or something, or like a kotatsu, that's a table, and you have like a blanket and it's heated underneath. So then you slip underneath and you fall asleep or watch TV or something. So yes, I'm very grateful for having this one room with the air conditioner, and it's warm. It's probably even too warm, as you see. I'm essentially short-sleeved. I appreciate it more than when I'm also aware that I'm in a good place. Oh yeah, I appreciate it more than. Yes. So how's your family? Everyone doing fine? Yeah. Everybody. I mean, so far so good. So I think the ones in Germany are fine, as far as I'm aware of, and the kids are doing well. So yeah, my younger one now got shoes. So playing outside is a thing now, all the time, waiting in the entrance, and it's like holding up the shoes and like, hey, I want to go outside, and being very persistent. And as I said, the older one now just restarted kindergarten in the new place we live in now. So you're saying Japan needs to step up the house game. I'm not sure. I mean, I don't know. So compared to Germany, when it comes to like being in this like brick walled houses, I like that, having like this essentially German houses are the ones I know, many of them, not all of them, but many of them are built in a way that it's warm in winter and cool in summer. In Japan, it's the other way around. And I'm not a big fan of that. Actually, in our previous apartment in Yokohama, it was on the south side, with a lot of windows, so it was warm even in winter. But in summer, it was almost unbearable. So it was warm in winter and super hot in summer. And when it comes to design and layout and so on, I like actually Japan's a little more. So the separation of bathroom and toilet, and then the newer houses have often like a more loft-like living room and so on. So I like that. So they both can learn, but in Japan with earthquakes and so on, having a brick house might not be the most realistic thing. So it would be like concrete, and I think that's environmentally, that's not the nicest. Central heating, pipes would break when there's an earthquake. There we go. Flexible pipes withstand earthquakes, says Alex Omatum. There we go again. I've been to Hamburg, Düsseldorf and Cologne for a day trip. Germany is one of my favorite places. That's one thing I miss traveling. Could use an escape from the US over here. I understand. I could also use that. Yeah, we had planned to go to Germany for 4 weeks. 4 weeks. So essentially going in around Christmas or middle December and until now maybe. But that did not work out. So I just took maybe into 7 days off or so. So with weekend and 11 days, just in Japan at home essentially. Finished the video. That was also good. And it's also good to have some space with the family, like time. Yeah. You can call me Hesh. Okay. Literature and mangas helped me a lot when I had bad times. Often I thought there should be a social media only to find friends with same interests. Do you know one? Not Facebook. Yeah. So when I was younger, we had something called Lokalisten in Munich, or in Germany, which was a local. That's where the local of Lokalisten came from. Community. So you had your home base, and around this home base you could connect. And for some reason, it was super easy to connect to people. And you got like messages from strangers that lived in your area all the time. And I even got a girlfriend through that social platform. But then it got bought by a media company, and they shut it down a couple of years ago. When was that? When they opened? I think they opened maybe in 2006 or so, and shut down 2015, 16, 17. That was good, but I don't know if there's anything like that now. Do you have a future toilet in your house? Actually, I have two. One of them is a little bit older. It just has 3 buttons. And then the other one was old, but it also was not so clean, so it was replaced once we moved in. And now it has more options. For example, I don't know if you know, but it took me like years, maybe 3 years, to find out that if you press, so there's a button for cleaning your ass, for cleaning your bed behind it. That's really, sorry. So there's a thing coming out, and then it sprays to clean. And if you press the button to start it again, in many, so the newer ones, it then starts to move. So it's not just straight, but it's like, so you don't have to. What a time to live in. I would really like to meet you in the future, and I want to say huge thanks for giving me a dream. That dream helped me in these negative COVID times. Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, whenever you're here. Or I don't know where you're located. Did you tell me? But yeah, you are originally from Munich, right? So you're a fan of Bayern Munich. Yes, I was not born in Munich, but in Cologne. But I lived in the Munich area for some time, since I was 10 months. And then I moved to Japan. So the kind of Munich, extended Munich area, a little bit more south, and then in Munich and so on. Moved around a bit with my family. And I was a big fan of Bayern Munich, and now I don't care so much. I mean, they win all the time. What can you do? Yeah. Madman, welcome back. I'm good, thank you. And thank you for being here again. All right, now I said I would come back to the question, what's something I like about Japan? So I explained actually about the place I'm here. I'm in here in Nagano City, what I like here. So also not so far from here is a town called Togari Onsen, which I like a lot. I think it's my most favorite place in Japan. I actually just posted an Instagram reel about that. It's just 30 seconds, but if you want to check my Instagram, it's probably in the description somewhere. And this place, there's a hotel. So essentially there are 2 seasons for these kinds of hotels there. One is the winter season, because there was the Winter Olympics in 1998 in Nagano, and in these areas there was a lot of this activity. So many people come for snowboarding and so on. Right now is the season. That's one. And the other one, the other one is in essentially summer break, so around August. Then all the clubs of the universities come to train in the countryside. So the judo people come, and the karate people come, and kyudo and so on. And that's why all this ryokan, these hotels, traditional Japanese hotels, have the hotel. Then they have an area where they rent ski equipment, and then they have an attached training hall. And that's where, in one of these hotels, we did a lot of seminars when my Aikido teacher was still alive. And I even organized 2 of them. And that's so great. So essentially, you go there with a group, the whole hotel is yours. Then you change in your room, you just walk into the dojo, into the training place. You don't have to go outside even. You train, and then you go back directly in the onsen, so the hot spring. And then you eat fantastic food, and then probably you drink something, because somehow Japanese martial arts and drinking seem to be related to some extent. And then you repeat that and sleep maybe also. And that's great memories for me, and probably that's why I like this place so much. And of course, it's countryside, it's silent and so on. Actually, when I was there making this reel, this was in December 2019, there was only, on the first night, 1 more couple there, and on the second night, nobody else, because it was out of season. So skiing season starts, I think, December 23rd or so, and we were in the beginning of December. And also all the shops and so on, it's all closed because outside of season, it doesn't make sense for them. Yeah, the Insta post says Demiran. Yes, the Insta post. I checked the Insta. Thank you. What cartoons did you watch in your childhood? Do you like Doraemon? Let me think. Cartoons. So I did like The Simpsons when I was a little bit older. And I was not allowed to watch a lot of TV when I was young. So whenever my parents left, I tried to watch Disney. I especially like Donald Duck cartoons. And then there was something called Mighty Ducks and Darkwing Duck. So that's why essentially I tried to watch Disney when I could, because that's what was offered on German public television in the morning. And then what else? Cartoons. I think Captain Tsubasa was back then. So I like that one. My sister liked something called Mila. I don't know what it's called in English. And then Doraemon. I actually watched Doraemon a little bit when I first arrived in Japan, because it was something that, like, on a level I could understand. And now my older one sometimes watches it. There's like something called Bikuri Dobutsu DVD, so surprised animal DVD, and they have like about animals and then about insects and dinosaurs and so on, and it's like essentially narrated by Nobita, the human guy, and then of Doraemon, and Doraemon, the robot cat. So I watch it sometimes, but not excessively, essentially only with my kids. But they're also not allowed to watch a lot, so it's limited. Then I come to Japan ASAP to meet you. By the way, I bought the books you recommended in your previous videos, and I really like it. It's interesting. Which one? Do you mean Japanese book? The Japanese learning books? Name some YouTuber you know personally. So, I mean, most of the YouTubers I know personally, I made collaborations with. Like I really like working with is Dave Trippin, and recently I made something with Frame of Travel. I also like him a lot. And I made something with another guy called Tristan or Torisama from a channel called Around Akiba. He's also a nice guy. His videos are crazy sometimes. Probably content I wouldn't make because I would be too afraid. And then I did something with Aussie Awesome. Then a guy called Guy Gillionaire. He has a strong focus on games, especially Nintendo. He makes high quality content, and recently had kind of a breakthrough. And I think his numbers, his views per month are like 5 times as high as they used to be. So I'm really happy for him. And I think that's the most I know. Of course, there's some I would like to work with. Of course, Abroad in Japan comes to mind when it's about Japanese content. Then recently I've been participating in a seminar which was hosted by John Daub. He used to have a channel called Only in Japan. Now he has a new channel also called Only in Japan - John Daub, I think. Or John Daub - Only in Japan. Yeah, he's also really professional guy. And of course, I mean, there are lots of Japan-focused YouTubers, like the big ones, Rachel, Jun, Paolo from Tokyo, and so on. And another one I really like and supported from almost the very beginning is Dogen. And then, and so on. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of YouTubers. Another YouTube channel I like a lot is called The People. And he goes to countries you don't want to go to and areas where you don't want to go to, essentially. And his pacing is like your blood pressure goes up or your heartbeat goes up. So it's like, and super long, like 50 minutes or so. So I think it's really intense and interesting to watch. It's a Russian guy, and he talks in Russian, but then he has like a voiceover in English. Interesting and entertaining. All right. If there were no time limit, how long is a good time frame for truly enjoying Japan? Then it depends on your money. So I think always the differentiation is like, if you come into Japan as a tourist, it's fantastic. So because you leave your burdens behind, right? You come here, you have enough money probably, you have the time, you have like 2 weeks or so. It's a clearly defined window. You don't need to think about all these things at home. And but then if you move here and you work, then you don't have the time anymore. Usually even people living in Japan don't travel as much as people coming to Japan for holidays. And all that. So what I want to say is, if you can come here for like, say, 3 months, because then you will be kicked out because of your tourist visa, then of course you need to be able to support yourself for 3 months. And if you can do that really comfortable, that you also can travel and so on, then 3 months is a good time, I think. The longest I was here was one month before I moved here, in like 1 month time frame. This was in July 2015. And but I lived at my girlfriend's, back then girlfriend's house, so it was not that expensive for me. Mila and Shiro, yes, probably. Maybe, yeah, Mila. Like I said, my sister liked Mila, and I was always like, it's better than nothing, but I don't have to watch that. Darkwing Duck was great, the real Ghostbusters, Animaniacs. Did you have difficulty in learning Japanese? Oh yeah, of course. I mean, I think it's not the thing of, I mean, obviously I make mistakes, and I still make them, and some mistakes, and some I don't realize. And that's part of the thing, of the game, of the process. But the difficult thing about learning Japanese is not understanding, obviously. I mean, everybody speaks Japanese in Japan, so it can't be that hard. But the thing is, the time you need to learn Japanese. So you really have to put it in repeatedly. So making this, making sure you do it in a way that you can repeat this every day for years. Like make it entertaining for you. Because just by discipline, that won't work. So if it's something you don't like doing, you will eventually stop. So building this kind of environment where you're looking forward to learning Japanese, that's the difficult part, I think, and then doing it over and over and over. But it's also rewarding when you use that then. Yes, Japanese learning books. Okay. The Japanese learning books. I'm sorry, I'm a little bit late in reading the comments. Okay. I think because somebody, I think, asked me once what my favorite book is or so. That's why, which is not a Japanese learning book. Forgot to ask this last time, Pepsi, J-Cola or Coke? So I don't drink Pepsi, J-Cola or Coke, but I used to drink a lot of Coke. I didn't like Pepsi. And I used to drink Coke with whiskey. Or what's it called? When you have it, Cuba Libre. Yeah, that I liked. But now I don't do anything with sugar anymore, so that's out of my I don't drink Coke anymore. By the way, guys, follow him on Instagram. He really deserves so much more. Thank you, Team Dreamy Senpai. Thank you. So go follow now. Do you ski or snowboard? If you do, any recommendations on ski resorts around Nagano? I don't, unfortunately. Even though I grew up until I was 10 on a mountain, essentially. I skied once back then when I was young, and I didn't like it. It was much less fun than just going onto a sleigh and going down the mountain. So I never do that. My wife does snowboarding. And what's the prominent one around here? So close one here is Shigakogen. I think that's fun thing to do. Also, my friend Dave from Dave Trippin, he went there recently, and I think he had a great time. It's also close to the Snow Monkey Park, in case you care. Hey, I came late. Hey, James Eltham, welcome to the live stream. How does it feel like to entertain so many people, including me? Totally not special, actually, because I don't see you all in person. Probably if I would see, if a video gets 1,000 views or so, and if I would stand in front of 1,000 people, that would be different. But right now, it's essentially just you and me, and you are actually just a camera. Hello from Romania. Hello, Minea Marinescu. Thank you for being here. Would you recommend Duolingo app to me for learning Japanese? I'm not sure. I think I used it a little bit, to test it when it came out. But back then it already was below what I was capable of. So I don't know, actually. Why not try it, right? It depends. If you really want to, if you're sure you want to learn Japanese and you want to really pull everything into it, give everything you have, then I wouldn't do it. If you are not sure, if you want to see if you like the language, if you like the writing system and so on, if that's covered, then I would do it. So I also did a very essential course called Michel Thomas Method, Total Japanese, in the beginning, which is 8 hours, only audio. You don't learn writing or so on. You just speak. You are set in a classroom environment where there's a teacher, 2 other students, and a native. And then they explain something, ask questions, you have to answer. Then the other students answer, and the native person says it in the correct thing correctly. So that's what I did first, and this was like slowly, but like got me into it. And then from there on, I leveled up. So if you're not sure, or if you don't want to invest so much time right now, then maybe it's a good thing. Is it hard to pick up Japanese girls? I'm not sure, actually, because so when I moved to Japan, I was married already. So it's kind of out of the question for me. I guess it's the same as everywhere, but maybe culturally it might be a little bit different. Like in Japan, usually it's not common to kiss in public or so. So if you're in a club or so on, you might not see that frequently. So you need to be get accustomed a little bit more. Maybe Google, check some forums or so on, or talk to people that have experience, not like me. Yeah, but I don't. Yeah, I guess is it hard? Depends on you. Is it mainly gaijin with cameras on the street there? There, you mean here in Nagano? No, I'm the only one. Sometimes only. But people usually look at me shortly and then they ignore me. I visited Japan for the first time right before the COVID. I'm trying to get a job there in IT. There are pros and cons. They're everywhere. I don't have any illusions as to what living there is like. Okay. Yeah, all the best with that. I hope you can get one. I don't know how the hiring situation has changed since COVID, but for my team, it has not changed negatively. So we're looking for lots of people. So I guess you can, if you have experience in the field, then you will eventually find something. Okay, Corey asks, Daniel, how's the economy? Only asking because I'm planning to visit Japan next year. Okay, Daniel. Okay, already responded. Oh, thank you, Daniel. Have a tea with your wife too. Okay, today is a very financially viable day. Already 3 donations. The first 3, by the way. Thank you so much. Hey, man, greetings from Brazil. Greetings to Brazil. Greetings from Japan. Your video about old tech in Japan is great. Thank you. Thank you. It was already actually a little short, like 4 minutes or so. After I finished, I came up with a lot more. Too bad. Also, I promised to make a video about like Genius Japan or Ingenious Japan in the end of the video. I will do it eventually. I actually recorded like 70% of it. Then I got sick or ill, and then we moved and so on. So, but eventually I will do it. Maybe my hair needs to be a little bit longer to fit, so that people don't realize it was shot like half a year apart. They think yeah. So about pay. So I think IT people actually, or it's economic situation in Japan for IT people generally, I think it's not as well paid as in other regions. So if I was in my hometown Munich, I would definitely get much more. So when I left, the situation was pretty good, and since then it has only improved for me, not for the companies, but not for the employers, but for the employees in my field. And in Japan, yeah, I mean, it's very safe. I won't lose my job all of a sudden, especially since I work at a bigger company. But yeah, in the beginning, I think my salary was not really competitive compared to some other countries, and it might not even be now, even though it improved a lot. Is it Johannes or Johannes? It is Johannes. So also another common mistake is to make the A long, so Johannes. That's also not correct, because in German, if there's a double consonant, then the previous vowel is short. So Johannes, which is by the way, which is where many Germans mess up Japanese, because we have stress accent just like the US, which means we make parts of a word louder and longer, so vowels become longer or shorter, which does not work that way in Japanese. Thanks, good knowledge to know. Okay, thank you, Daniel. Okay, hi Jared. Welcome to the live stream. And yes, shout out to Daniel again for donating again. Are you happy with your last video regarding editing and how many views it got? I am happy. Yes, actually, I liked the first part a lot. So I had a couple of things where I thought, yeah, that's nice while I did it. And the second part was I had to wing it a little bit. As you see, like the first part is kind of balanced a little bit to my side. And the second part is almost only Victor, who was my sidekick in the video. Because essentially we were so exhausted. I was just sitting there and filming from one location, like down and up and so on. I didn't film a lot of shots of the interior and so on. And also the audio wasn't great, unfortunately. So sometimes I had to use the audio on the camera, which is a little, for inside, I used this little point and shoot. So it's a great camera for this size. Like it has 4K and internal ND filters, f1.8 to 2.8. So it's a great camera, great low light, but it's also very limited. So it overheats pretty quickly in 4K and all that. Also has things I don't need, like a viewfinder and a flash, because I don't take pictures, I just make videos. And the audio, which is on here, doesn't have an audio in, is pretty bad, I think, especially if I'm in a noisy environment like the restaurant or bar we've been in, and the other person's rather far away. So that's why sometimes in the video, the audio in the end was not so good. So I didn't like that part, but the snowy part is something I liked a lot. Is it possible to change my status after coming to Japan to a tourist visa and finding love? I would go the other way. I would find love first and then go to the tourist, change the visa. What I did is that way. That's why I say that. So I came here on a tourist visa and then I changed to a spouse visa. However, I came here and I was already married. And this is kind of possible. So changing from a tourist to a non-tourist, but also you might get rejected. So I know one person who tried it, went to the immigration office and they said, no, you can't do that. Then she went to another immigration office and they said, yeah, of course. So generally it's possible, but you might also not be possible. So it's kind of grayish. Greetings from rural Pennsylvania, US. I wish I could stay longer, but grocery shopping needs done. Have a great day and stay safe. You too, Namira Grey Cloak. You too, have a great day. One more thing about the visa thing. One person that was in my team previously came to Japan on a tourist visa, found a job, then the tourist visa was over, so she left for Korea somewhere and came back. So you can just leave one day and come back. And you probably get it again, but they also might decline you at the airport. Most likely, if you do it once, then it's okay. So by that, she had enough time to actually get the working visa, change visas, and then stay in Japan. I have 10 plus years in IT. Oh, wow, great. But my company is further from Chicago, where they don't feel like they compete, so they don't pay as well. I see. This is why I think my pay would not be as different. I see. Yeah, I mean, it totally depends also. If you're so experienced and so on, usually Japan is always your previous salary plus 10% or so. So that's why I have one video where I talk about getting an IT job in Japan, where I say that it's so important to get the beginning right, because everything you get after that will be based on the first one. So you have the first one, then plus 10%, plus 10, plus 10. Sometimes people ask for like plus 20% or 30, which might also be okay. But generally, it's unrealistic to double your salary by jumping from one job to the next. Yeah, so make sure to get a good start salary-wise when you come here. Moin Johannes, any websites you can recommend if someone would like to apply for a job in Japan with limited Japanese at the moment? I think back then I just used Gaijinpod and wrote a couple of applications. And the thing is, none of the job descriptions that were out there were something I did apply for in the end. But what this got me is contact to the agents. So you apply for something, then an agent comes back to you. You talk to them on the phone or personally, probably on the phone now, or Zoom or something. And then they continuously feed you with new job descriptions. Then you can apply to that if you want to. So I would just go to Gaijinpod, see if you find something fitting, and then apply to 1 or 2 or maybe 5, whatever, how many you want. And then probably if they think you're interesting, then the agents will reach out. Here in India, for a fresher, the salary is just $4,000 per year. It's too low. Yes, that's true. I mean, that being said, I don't know what the cost of living is in your area. So obviously it depends. I mean, in Japan, it would be very low. Probably be like that per month. I don't know. Love your stream, man. Gotta go now. Have a great day. Goodbye, man. You too, Madman. Thank you for always coming here. Have a great day. Dreamy Semper, what's a fresher? I guess that's somebody who just left college, right? Ah, yeah, okay. Fresher is someone who just finished his professional degree from a college. Are there any specific places or topics you really want to make in a future video as a documentary type of deep dive? So I probably won't do it, but I once had the idea to make something like history of Japanese martial arts, which is very exhaustive. And also this would be like an animated video kind of style. So I did like a handful less than that, 3 or so. And they are very time consuming to make. So the longest one I did is called All You Need to Know About Kyoto. It's like 9 minutes and took me, I think, maybe 100 hours, or was it 180 hours or something like that? A long time. So almost 1 month of full-time work for 9 minutes, and got like 3,000 views now. So and doing this for an extended video is takes a lot of time. But I'm trying to get away from animation, and what I actually want to do now is, and I did for the last 2 videos, is show you more about where I am now. So Nagano essentially, because when I talk to people about Nagano, they lived here for 10 years. I say, okay, a friend is coming. What should I show him? They say, how about Zenkoji? Zenkoji is the big temple here. That's like the tourist attraction. No, I already showed him. It's like, then they're like, I don't know. What else? Is there anything else? So nobody knows, even the natives don't know. There's this one thing, Zenkoji, then currently maybe there might be snow monkeys, and then there's skiing or so. So what to do in Nagano that's like not what everybody tells you, that's what I want to show. Like not like the previous video, which is kind of well known, this area, or the one before with the Kofun, the ancient Japanese tombs, which are just next to Toys R Us here. So things like that. But also actually the people. So previously in the live stream, I talked about a place in Japan I like a lot, Togari Onsen. And one hotel I always went to, I want to talk with the owner, and I want to show what it's like to own a Japanese hotel behind the scenes. I tried to convince her once, but she didn't agree. But I try again. Maybe I have to make a deal, like one kind of advertising-ish video. Like, this is what it's like to be here as a guest, and then another one this is what it's like to be here as an owner. So that's what I would like to do. So showing the places and the people of this area. And I don't know if it will be like a deep dive or something. Maybe it will be longer every now and then, maybe 25 minutes or so, but probably not like 50 or 1 hour. Okay. In Albania, a fresher, somebody who just finished college, also gets about $3,000 to $4,000 a year before tax. I see. By the way, you post your pictures as well in Instagram. I had to screenshot from your video to draw you. All right. Okay. Yeah, that's true. I don't post a lot of selfies or pictures with me in the picture because it's way harder to do that. I mean, either I do a selfie, but I don't like the look of my arm in the picture. So I would have to have it on a tripod, then go somewhere, and probably either have a timer, or with this camera I would start, take the picture with my phone is remote control, and then check, and then it doesn't look good, so I need to again, and so on. So that's why I don't have, and then the other way around, if I take a picture and I'm behind the camera, it's so easy. That's why I don't have a lot of pictures with me on Instagram. However, they perform much better. So maybe I should do that actually. Thanks for the advice, Dreamy Senpai. People think making YouTube videos is so easy, but it's not. People spend hours editing videos, even if they record for an hour. Hard to do when you have a job too. Yes, exactly. So for example, the last video, we started in the morning. We took the first bus at 7 a.m. Also, the previous night, I came back at 3 a.m. So Victor arrived, then we went drinking, and I showed it. Then once we are done, we went outside, and he's like, "Would you show me the temple?" The Zenkoji, this big temple. So we went there and so on. When I came home, it was like 3. Had to get up at 6, and didn't drink enough and so on. That's why I look maybe older in the video, like more wrinkly. And then we started at 7, and we got back at like 4:30 or so. So just getting there, walking up the mountain, and coming back down took like a whole day. And it's not so far. It's like 4 kilometers from the bus station to the top of to the shrine. So it's like all in all maybe 8-9 kilometers if you take a detour or so. But if you have gear and you take up pictures and videos of everything, and both of you do that, it's taking a long time actually. And also the video before that, you know, about the old tombs. If you really look closely, then you see that in the beginning I'm wearing sneakers, and then after that I'm wearing boots, because it actually was shot on 3 different days, not one as I'm trying to make it appear. I could have done it one day, maybe, but yeah, I did. The first one was on Thursday morning before work, then the second one was on Saturday, and the third one on Sunday. So it actually takes more time than people think, I agree. Have a great day. Headed out for errands. We'll catch more of your lives. Enjoyed this one. Thank you, Patricia. Have a great day. I don't know how I got here. I'm not subscribed. Well, you can change that now. Swede? Are you Swedish? Maybe. And thank you for having you here. Thank you for coming here anyway. Will you sing a song for us? No. I don't think so. Oh, Jared, $5. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Today is a very good day. Hope you stay for a while. We are definitely not creating a cult here. Thank you so much. It's getting closer to midnight, and I need to work tomorrow. So I'm probably not gonna make it so long, but still not quit now. That's Svite has just joined. So what's up with the clickbait title? You have to skip back to way to the beginning of the video. Then you know why. It's not clickbait, you're late. One of us. Yeah, so now we already. So I talked about this, the title in the beginning of the video, maybe 5-10 minutes or so. And yeah, if you're interested, just go back to there and then take a look. And now we are in the the casual conversation part. Hits desk with both fists. By the way, for all of those who are new to the stream now, and if you have seen the previous one, I hope you like this look now better than before, because I'm not using my laptop's webcam anymore, because my laptop is somewhere over there, and I bought a Mac Mini, so I don't have a webcam, but I also bought an adapter to connect my GH5 camera to the laptop, to the computer, to use it as a cam now. So hopefully it sounds and looks better. You're getting naked or what, lol? Okay. Maybe later, but I guess not yet. That would also be a very clickbait title. Getting naked in Japan. This is better. Thank you. Thank you. Not really sure if I should put more light or so in the background. Also, you see here, you know, here, no, here, this one is the end of my yoga mat, which is pink. Gee. Yeah, I mean, like, I could make the background like blue or something, or put the light in this one on. But yeah, I will still optimize. Oh, all right. That's all the free time for me today. Back to studying we go. Okay, Demiran, thank you so much for sharing your free time with us and with me. You also have a great one. Yeah, I must say. So one thing I'm really grateful for is when I see, like, I upload a video and then it gets viewed like 10 days of time. So essentially people give me 10 days of their life. That's unbelievable. For some YouTubers, the off-the-cuff videos where they comment about McDonald's chocolate French fries make them 1 million views. I like that one. And as you might be referring to Abroad in Japan, he was also pretty surprised by that. I think this was just when he had made the decision to do YouTube full-time. It was like February 2016 or so. And he even didn't do it or so. And he did that, and it was like the most viral video he had until that point. And I tried them, not the McDonald's one, but at some sushi place or so. And it was, yeah, as you would expect, salty and sweet. Good to do it once. Won't do it again. 6 out of 10. The first video where I had the feeling, wow, this got way more views than I expected, was called, what was it called? Maybe What Not to Do in Japan or something like that. And I might redo that. So I talked about things that other people don't talk about, like 4 things. Like if you have a turtleneck, don't pull it up like here, because of the image Japanese people connect with that, and so on. And but I might remake it. I actually started remaking it also, like, to 70% or so in summer, with a lot of like more topics, more wider topics, more applicable topics. But then because of COVID, I didn't shoot the scenes inside of restaurants, because I didn't go to restaurants, and that's still the current status. So eventually, probably I will redo this one. Yeah, Chris brought all the Otona Kurimpai. Okay, I don't know that one. Let's see that. Otona Kurimpai. We'll check later. How to survive in Japanese toilet. You saved millions of people. Thank you. Yeah, this was my very first video, and I watched it every now and then for 10 seconds, and then I have to cringe away like this. It's unwatchable for me, but somehow people think it's funny. I don't know why, but I'm glad they do. And others say thank you. That's also great. Like, you saved me. I think the big point is finding how to flush. That's that's that. But if I watch that, like how I presented that, because as you can hear from the video, I'm not usually, so maybe I'm talking not loud enough usually if I don't talk to a camera. And you hear that clearly in the first video. Also, sometimes I look to the side, so I watch to the screen, and I didn't hold it enough. So when you finish a scene, you keep it a little bit, and then you cut, and then you do something else to give me some room for the cut. I didn't do that, so it was really tough to do, I remember. But I learned that quickly. And also the microphone was on top of the camera, so the audio was pretty bad, and so on and so on. So I would do it totally different now, and probably would take like 5 times as long to make. But it performed so well. It's my second most successful video. It's like 600,000 views. So yeah, I won't change it. Do you like camping? I liked camping when I was young. So my family and I traveled a lot, and we camped because we didn't have a lot of money. So I liked it a lot. But I haven't camped in quite some time. Maybe the last time was when I was 20 or so, and that was so. Because I remember we had like a rocky, like the camping ground was like rocks and so on, or stones, and we didn't have mats with us for some reason, because we thought the sleeping bag is enough, and it wasn't. And here in Japan, yeah, it's definitely possible. Maybe I want to do that with my kids someday, or at least my older one. I think my wife wouldn't like it so much, but I do. It would be nice to go somewhere for a weekend or so. McDonald's has pastry called adult cream pie, yaotono no cream pie or something like that. In Japan, it makes more sense. In Japanese, it makes more sense. Which was a whole barrel of laughs on the internet. For those who don't know, they will use adult on sweets to indicate they're more for adults. Yeah. There's like otona no amasa or something. Like Japanese, not Japanese, adult or grown-ups sweetness. So it's not as sweet. They have a lot of otona no amasa, Kit Kat, and so on. So I usually buy that because I used to buy that when I still ate sugar, because it's not so sweet. That video is funny. Yes, I don't know why though. For me, it's cringy. Like dark chocolate or something. Yes. Is long hiking 3+ days a thing in Japan? Not sure. I think not so much, because many people go to work after 2 days. So a lot of people climb Mount Fuji. Some people, like my friend Victor, do the C2 summit. So this means that usually when you start climbing Mount Fuji, some people start from, I think, station 5 or so, and then it's just a couple of kilometers. But there's one tradition where you take the water from the sea, which is the lowest point in Japan, and then you walk up Mount Fuji, which is the highest point, and then you pour it onto Mount Fuji or into Mount Fuji. So, and then by itself, it will go back into the sea eventually. So there's that, and that usually takes a couple of days, I think, or 1 day or so. I've seen some video about a runner who just ran up there in 2 hours. But I think that usually that's would be a longer hike. I don't know if that's like super, because I don't know. Yeah, I really don't know. I mean, it's also not so super it looks massive from here, but probably it's not massive enough. The Japanese Alps, maybe it's not massive. They are not massive enough to have like 3 days, 3+. It's possible. No. Depends on your route. I don't know how popular it is though. Does Mount Fuji look sexy in real life, just like in photos? Yeah, absolutely. So in my previous house, I was able to see it from the balcony, and not every day. So it's usually in around this time of the year, so beginning of the year in the morning, I would see it. And we had our office in Roppongi, we could also see it. For some reason, it looked great, bigger from the office in Roppongi, which was further away than Yokohama. And it looks great, yes. But I've never been there up close. Are you an engineer in Japan? So I started as a software engineer here. But now I'm an engineering manager, so kind of still an engineer, but I'm focusing on higher level problems. I hear that beach culture isn't as popular. When I used to watch anime, it seemed like visiting the beach on a trip. Do you know people who go to beaches? So just before we moved away from Yokohama, we went to a couple of beaches. One is in Kamakura, which is not so far, and then another one in Enoshima. And most people there, so it was already late in the year, like end of September, beginning October. But most people there were surfers, actually. Also some kids and so on playing there, but swimmers, not so much. I think in Okinawa and so on, it's a stronger beach culture. But yeah, I'm also not sure. I think it's because of the sea. So I think swim pools and so on are more popular. But the sea, maybe because it's dirty or so, or it's dangerous, I don't know. Second time, sing for us being uppercase. Second time, no. Why people in Japan hate perfumes? So one, I think it's a thing of fitting in, because nobody does it. You will stand out if you do that. So then, like, and if you're in like a cramped space, like a train, like a subway train at rush hour, then that stands out. But I think it's still better to smell like perfume than smell sweaty. So I use it like subtle, I think, at least. And but I also like deodorants and so on get more popular, I think, because people are afraid of being embarrassed because they sweat or so. And also so genetically, like a large portion of Japanese population doesn't sweat as much as many maybe Westerners or Germans or so. I think it's like 70% ish, and then the other way around or so. Rachel and June actually made a video about it and how you can find out if you are in which genetic group you are. Regarding beaches, are there strict regulations for surfing, for example? I don't think so. I mean, the waves are not so high, or have not been so high there where I was. I saw one guy who was there with his teacher, so they were dry surfing on the beach. So he's like, that's how you get onto the thing and so on. That's how you stand. But none that I'm aware of, but I'm also not a surfer. Are you an engineer in Japan? You asked 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. So I answered the first time, but let me answer again, just in case you missed it. I'm in Japan, and I started as a software engineer, but now I'm not anymore. So now I'm an engineering manager, which is still working with engineering-related problems, but also with people management and quality management and everything that's related, a little bit a wider field of problems, and a little more high level, usually. I'm curious, is it two rejects will not give up? I'm curious, is it intentional or coincident that your YouTube thumbnails are very similar to the Abroad in Japan with the same layout, font, and colors? So I had the font for a long time. It's not the same font. I don't know actually what font he used. I used something called Impact, which is like a default font on Mac or so. I think I used it not because of him, but because in some place said that's a good font for YouTube. And then recently I changed it a little bit, first to Arial Black, which I use in my thumbnails, which is very similar still in the font type. And in the videos now I use something else. I forgot the name. It's called Montserrat or something like that. Also it looks kind of similar, but I don't like it so much in the thumbnails. And the colors. So previously I used to do either a white font and a black line around a border, and then like a glow thing, which is also black on one, or a red font, white border, and white glow. But I found, maybe it was after Chris started doing that having the box, you know, like white text, red box, or not super red, not completely red, but darkish red, gives it more visibility. But I'm not sure if it was inspired by him. But actually, you're not the first one who said that, so probably I should change it so that it's more differentiatable. Yeah, I think he might do it a little bit different. So John Daub, also from Only in Japan, also started doing that. He has a little bit of a gradient or something in there, so it's a little bit more differentiatable. Also, his font is different, more different. Yeah, I also have a shadow on the box. I don't know if Chris has that. Yeah, not sure, but yeah, might be. So I like Chris's videos a lot, and I adore his work. So even if it's not conscious, then it still might be. Yeah, welcome, Jyoti. Is he an engineer in Japan? Yeah, he is, maybe. Not anymore. Hey there, saving up for move to Japan. How much should I reasonably save for a comfortable move? I read anywhere from $2,000 to $6,000 US. I have over that amount. I made a video called Cost of Living in Japan, where I broke down what it cost me to move here. So the ticket was not so expensive, it was like $800 or so. And I made a mistake, which was quite pricey, because I thought I was clever, and I booked. So a one-way flight from Germany to Japan is more expensive than a round trip. So I booked a round trip, and the return flight was like way in the future, like 6 months. But ANA, or probably any airline, wouldn't let me board if I didn't have a return ticket within my visa validity period, which was 3 months, because I was coming on a tourist visa, then changed. So this meant they wouldn't let me board unless I bought another ticket, which was like $3,000 or more. Was it 6,000? I don't know. Anyway, I had a lot of cash, so I could do that. And I bought a kind of, it was so expensive because it was returnable. So in the end, it cost like a fee of $60 or so. But still, it was very annoying, very, yeah, like my wife already went a couple of weeks earlier to make sure we have an apartment and so on. So it was like she was waiting. I don't want to miss this flight, but will I? So that was not fun. But back to the topic, I don't remember how much it cost me exactly, and it depends a lot on your rent actually. So you usually pay 1 or 2 months rent upfront, then you pay agent fee, you pay key money, you pay cleaning fee, maybe some deposit or so. So it's like 5-ish months of rent, 6 maybe. So and then depending on your rent, you might pay more or less. And then of course, if you want to move stuff from where you're living, that costs money, or if you buy stuff, that also costs, but that totally depends on what you need. Hello, 003 Silius. What's your height? I'm 5'7". I'm 180 0.4 or so centimeters. I don't know what that's in feet. Wait. Just Google. It says why do you do? Oh, sorry, 1 second. 0.4. 5.9186. It says. So there you go. So Müsli Mage, Müsli Mage, have a beer. Thank you so much. 5 pounds. Wow. Thank you so much. So today is like unbelievable. What's that? The 5th person already donating? Maybe, probably. If I didn't lose track. And that's the 5th person in total as well. So thank you so much, everybody. I have been streaming this during work. A meeting less than 30 minutes, don't worry. I've been working on tedious SQL stuff this whole time. Thank you for the stream. Have a nice night, Oyasumi Minasai. You also have a great meeting, hopefully, and a great remaining work day. And thank you so much for your donations and joining the stream. By the way, are you getting enough rest? I hope you are really taking care of yourself. I think so. I think so. I'm trying to take it slow and have give priority to sleeping. Only asking because it is slowly turning into the official Japan expert vlogger YouTuber thumbnail. I see. Yeah, maybe then I should change to differentiate more. Bye, Daniel. You made him happy. Yes, you did. See you. Thanks for the insight. I'll definitely check out that video. Okay. Please check it. All right. Now it's already 2 past midnight, so I slowly need to call it a day. Maybe if you have 1 or 2 more questions or so, then I will answer that, and then thank you all for your participation. It was a great stream so far. So I mentioned before, I have an air conditioner here in this room, and it's great because it means that this room is not cold. Like when I get up usually in the morning and I go down to the kitchen, it's like 2 or 3 degrees. So imagine you can see your breath in the kitchen condensating. But having the air conditioner also means it gets super dry here. So my lips are getting super dry and so on, and also my nose. You also take care, Alminox. Yeah, Dreamy Senpai, also happy. And thank you for your time as well. Are you going to add more streams in the future? It's been quite a few recently. I think so. So I just bought an adapter for my camera so that it looks better. So I think so. Kind of spontaneous, probably. As you have seen, I scheduled this one like 20 minutes in advance or so, because I don't really know when I find the time. But if I do it like that, like I see, okay, I have a window here and like 2 hours or so, kids are asleep, wife has something different to do, and I don't work on a video now, then I think that's a good thing. So I think I'm planning to do more, but I'm not planning to plan them. Random question. I don't have a degree, but in 3 years, I will have 10 years experience as a software developer. Could I apply for a work visa in 3 years? Yeah, I think so. So usually 3 years is the number that's being thrown around, but that's not a hard number. I heard people also coming earlier. So you might try to contact some agents and ask them for their experiences. Maybe you can do it earlier, if you want to come earlier. What's your take on blue-collar jobs in Japan and getting a part-time job in Japan? So I think, the thing is for foreigners, usually the visa types don't, as far as I know, don't allow blue-collar jobs or part-time. So if you come here and you want to do this kind of work, then you would have to have a different visa, like cultural activities visa, student visa, and so on. So if that's the direction your question is going. But it's definitely possible to get that. So obviously, if you can do part-time, then like at a convenience store or something, or restaurant or so, you need to have a good enough level of Japanese. But again, depending on the field, if you have like work in a German restaurant, for example, then maybe German would be enough. Totally depends. But again, visa is the problem. If you don't have another visa. So usually if you have student visa or, like I said, cultural activities is, for example, if you do like martial arts or something, and then you do that every day and you get some written thing from the place you train at, and then by that you can get the visa, and you can apply for special permission to work for up to 28 hours per week, also as a student. First thing I would do when I get to Japan is go to that tunnel and see if my reflection shows. I don't know that tunnel. You need to teach me. What's the general attitude towards developers in Japan? I heard they treated it like another white-collar job. Yeah, I think so. It's essentially like that, I think. Or generally, when I ask my wife or so, what's the perception she has? It's like, And then I asked, what's the perception of, or what's a job that Japanese think pays a lot of money? It's lawyer or doctor, like physician, doctor, maybe dentist also, but not software engineer. And I also think it's not in comparison. So, as mentioned before, in Japan, I think the payment is not really internationally competitive. Oh, Tori-sama, welcome. I was talking about you not just before, but sometime before. 2 beers, one for you, one for me, the next time we meet. Excellent. Question, do you have a favorite Japanese YouTuber in Japanese? Okay, let me think and go. Oh, did you see that? The battery of one of the lights went off. Now you have to, let me put this here maybe. This gets more scary. Now I have only one. Put it here. This means I have to call it a day soon. But let me connect something to that light and hopefully it will. There we go. Okay, wait a second. How to get basic things for your house in Japan. Please do a video on this. I'm future, like how to get cooking gas, how to get basic things and stuff. Okay. So, I mean, cooking gas and so on, that's usually not the issue because somebody will come and do that for you and then you pay them monthly if you have gas. And I don't know. So, as I mentioned, I'm trying to do it more about the area and not so much maybe about how-tos anymore, but probably every now and then I will fill something like that in and then you might get it one day, but not sure yet. Do you have a favorite Japanese YouTuber? Back to your questions, Tori-sama. Let me think. I think the last one I watched was Soda the Troll, but I think he's doing it in English. And also it's not my favorite. Let me check my Japanese YouTube account. There were a couple. So there was the one guy whose name I forgot, who's also on TV. But generally, I would love to see. I like a certain type of video, and the one that I like that's available in Japanese is mostly DIY, so do-it-yourself stuff. So the one I mean is Rombu Channel. And then that's probably the most famous one. Yeah, then sometimes I watch like martial arts and so on. These guys also speak Japanese, but I don't watch a lot of Japanese YouTubers at the moment. Oh, sorry, that was from a Tokyo Lens video. Yeah, I see. Maybe I haven't seen that one. I guess it was even, I know he went to some tunnels with Victor recently, but I haven't seen the video yet. Hello, Red Han 1110M. Welcome. It's already close to the end, but still, welcome. You can just scroll back and then watch it all again. Your host literally asking you to sleep. It is. Pro tip about jobs in Japan. Find a Western company with department in Japan. They usually have better work conditions and pay because of the Western requirements. Yes, maybe. I also know others. For example, there's some companies which also have a Western, a competitive pay, even in international standards. But of course, there's like Google, Apple, and so on, the usual ones that pay pretty well. Tris Tori-sama, 50 franc does not count. Oh, yeah, I watched him recently, even though, I mean, he's now out of 50 franc business. Rachel and Jun, the Jun part. Yeah, but that's probably also doesn't count really as a Japanese YouTuber in Japanese. Because, I mean, his English is way better than mine. How did you overcome your greatest challenges while living in Japan? With time. So my greatest challenge is actually having my friends and my family in Germany. So the trick is make friends and family in Japan. And that takes time, of course. I highly recommend Kimagure Kuku for people who love cooking. Never seen before dishes. Ooh. We'll check that. All right. So now I said 5 minutes and it's already 10. So that means now, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your time until now. And I hope you'll have a great day, whatever time it may be, wherever you are. Thank you for your time. Exactly. Have a good night. We'll see you in the next stream. So thank you really for watching and for all the donations today. Really has been mind-blowing. Thank you so much. Good night.